Good morning and welcome to the day of the week that we have renamed Esport Friday. I'm Steve Callis and your guide through this mysterious world to most of us of esport, virtual sport, and anything else that's kind of not real is Cameron Osterlin. Cameron, welcome, and no doubt you're going to dispute the not real comment.
Yeah, way to tee it up for me. Jeez. Yes, no, I am the pretend not real person. 22 weeks and you're still calling it not real. Now I understand. The virtual world. The virtual
world.
Yes. The thing we can't touch, but we kind of do anyway, like in some strange concept. So today, Esport Friday, episode 22. We are talking about speed running, thanks to a question that was put to us a couple of weeks ago by Amos, who wanted to know a bit more about esport, the role that speedrunning plays within esport, within the community of esport. But first, I guess we should talk about what speedrunning is. And I think we can make some comparisons here about real sport versus virtual sport, esport. We can find some parallels. So speed running, I guess. Oh, hang on. We got a dictionary definition. Here you go. A session or instance of play in which the goal is to finish the game or level or meet another gameplay objective as quickly as possible. So
like speed dating.
Well, I was going to make a sport comparison.
Okay, best you
do. So I would call, for example, Usain Bolt a speedrunner. He's going over a set distance as fast as is possible. He holds a world record. Does he still hold the world record?
Yes.
Yes, there you go. So he's still, how many years has he been retired now? Holds the world record for the 100 meters and possibly the 200 meters as well.
Yeah, definitely the two.
But also there's track events where he will face off against other competitors. So there's two kind of categories there where he will go, or the athletes will go and run their sprints together, and there is a winner of the event on the day, but also there's the records. Speed running runs much the same. There's some events that are held where you'll have a bunch of competitors come together. They'll all compete on the same game, and they'll try and set the fastest time on the day to crown a winner. But there's also world records all around the world for these games that are tracked and awarded when someone manages to do a world first time. So very, very similar to that type of sport. There's a official partner for the Guinness World Records called speedrun.com, which tracks a whole bunch of different records. So we've got like Super Mario Brothers. You got all the different Mario type games that are tracked. So I don't know if you ever played Super Mario Brothers, first released in 1985 on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I think I played a bit of it when I was maybe, I don't know, 10 or 11 at primary school. We had a SNES at the after school care center, and I got to play a bit. So the fastest time, I would have sunk hours into this game, but the fastest time, the world record is 4 minutes, 55 seconds, and 646 milliseconds to complete an entire game. So they're kind of pushing some extremes. A couple more examples. Doom, 5 minutes and 4 seconds to complete the OG Doom game released in 1993. Doom has a bit of a special place in speedrunning. The Doom kind of holds the title for being one of the first games, if not the first game, to kind of embrace the culture and may have even spawned speedrunning with one of the features where they first enabled people to record their gameplay so that people could compare how quickly they were doing things. So Doom has a bit of a unique place in the history of speedrunning in that capacity. Minecraft, you might probably have kids out there who've played Minecraft. Somehow someone has beat the in-game time, the entire game, in 2 minutes, 56 seconds. I watched somebody on YouTube the other day try to do it in 15 minutes and they struggled and they were cheating the whole time. So for someone to actually do it in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 56 seconds is crazy. And another quick example, the Pokemon game on the Game Boy, 1 hour, 45 minutes. So they're not always quick, but I think I must have sunk probably 20, 30 hours easily into this game when I was in my youth, maybe 11, 12 years old. And someone's managed to finish the whole thing in 1 hour and 45. So speedrunning as a concept, yes, quite similar to sprint races and the various types of sport like that.
Well, I mean, one that just springs to mind, the equivalent of it seems like, Cam, is one that was very iconic this week and very influential in an iconic sporting moment in Australian sport, which was the time trial at the Tour de France this year, where Richie Porte managed to make up nearly a minute 30 over a 32-kilometre or 36-kilometre course and get himself to become the second Australian on the podium of the Tour de France. So similar to that style of competition.
Indeed. Yeah, and the one of the unique things I think about speedrunning in the esports area or in the community of esport is that it's really applicable to anything. You can speedrun anything. I don't know about sport in general where competition like that exists. I guess it's unique to the time trial type or the first across the
first across the line
type of sport.
Anything where there's a set finish line that's not time driven. It equates to beautifully. And as you're talking, I'm thinking about, in pentathlon, pistol shooting, first to shoot 5 targets, I think it is, before you can move on, and etc. So anything where there's a fixed start and finish.
Sydney to Hobart boat race.
Exactly.
Plenty of
anything where there's a fixed start and finish is effectively in esport terminology terminology speedrunning.
Yeah, indeed. Some live speed running to just showcase as we kind of talk about it. So yeah, I think the niche of speed running is still developing. Some of the events have been quite big. The graphic I had up before as we were joining is talking about some of the hours watched on Twitch. So in February this year, speed running kind of held the podium for the most amount of hours watched on Twitch. So
just to go back a bit to, we've got a game where, say, Doom, for instance. So effectively what this means is there's different formats for the game. So I mean, this is the layperson trying to convert what you're saying. So one format is to score or to win against a competitor, and the other is to finish as fast as you can. Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes. So I guess when you talk about Rocket League, for example, which we've talked about a number of times. Yeah, so Rocket League is more like football or tennis or something like that, where you face off against someone else or another team and you try to score the most points in that set amount of time. You can't really speed run a game like Rocket League. So yeah, you've got that comparison or tennis, or any kind of football type of game. I don't think there's a single type of football where you can speed run. Perhaps there's some obstacle courses out there where you have to juggle a ball. I don't know. So yeah,
golden goal, maybe golden goal.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. That's an era that came and went, didn't it? But yeah, so I guess it's got some similarities and some differences, and in this esports community as well, I think it's kind of seeing some discussion about whether or not it belongs in the same way that some people, and I'm not going to be a person that makes this comparison myself, but I know a lot of people will talk about things like boxing or golf, and some people might say, oh, it's not really a sport, but I don't believe that, but they make these arguments where it's got kind of its own kind of thing. But speedrunning is definitely a sport, just in the same way that golf and boxing definitely are sports. It's just that they kind of, they have a different approach or a different methodology or a different kind of style within the sport umbrella.
It's like the traditionalists, and let's just go with cricket, for instance, that really think that 2020 is not necessarily a sport; it's an entertainment,
right?
And so don't rate it. And the Australian cricket establishment for many years treated 2020 cricket like that, and we were rated right down the bottom of the world in the ratings, and then all of a sudden, I think we matured as in our understanding of what it was and where it fitted, and now there is a very definite place for it. So it seems, and again, there's other examples of effectively what we're talking about here. Cam, is just a short format game, really.
Yeah, and very versatile speedrunning as well. So you can't pigeonhole speedrunning into one type of format. People will find pretty much any game can be speedrun, except for your few examples like Rocket League, which don't really have that kind of playthrough. But if you can go from a start to a finish point at any game, you can speedrun it. So there's the opportunity to do just about anything there.
So what about those type of first-person shooter type games? Do they have
so the trend at the moment with a lot of first-person shooters, like your Call of Duties, they're going into this multiplayer survival trend where everyone's following this battle royale kind of thing. Battle royales, they're not really compatible with a speed run because it's survival. It's everyone into one spot and then whoever's the last in that period of time. So
good game.
In that game. Yeah. So it doesn't really lend itself to the concept of speed running. So the trend is very much at the moment away from this type of game where but there's still plenty of options out there. I mean, a couple of the biggest games in the last 5 to 10 years have been Grand Theft Auto, for example.
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption, similar type of game. So Grand Theft Auto is probably a game that I'd say the developers would put out maybe 40 to 50 hours of gameplay. They would suggest for their platform, which is quite good for a game that kind of has a story element to it, where you play through and you've got kind of set things that you have to do, and it's like a long form film or a TV show where you're playing through a story, you're learning about different characters, playing through certain events. With the fastest record for Grand Theft Auto 5 at 5 hours and 56 minutes. So you can see when you're comparing that to Doom before at 5 minutes, the amount of gameplay that's involved in a game like Grand Theft Auto, which I think at one point was the highest selling game in the world in all history for gaming platforms and games, 5 hours, 56 minutes. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So one of the things that kind of sets speedrunning apart from everything else is that, I mean, cheating is almost acceptable. Almost. So there's, I don't know how to explain it in the best way, but a lot of speedrunning involves taking advantage of glitches that are within the game. You can't hack the game, you can't change the game, but if it exists within the game, then you can take advantage of it. So if there's shortcuts or things you can do to like lean on some kind of glitch that's been in the game for 10 years, you can do that. That's within the realm of speedrunning. So speedrunners kind of look for ways to take advantage of perhaps things that coders haven't thought of, or, something that gives them an advantage that perhaps is unintentional, but is within the realm of the game to give them a speed advantage. So, I mean, that's something that kind of sets it apart from many other competitive sports where, you're trying to find it's cycling as the example that you were talking about before. When competitors are trying to find an advantage, they're often looking to enhance their bodies. But we have seen some
technology, like we're seeing.
Exactly. Technology was what I was going to say, like swimsuits and different types of bikes. These sorts of things that come along. Yeah, boats, exactly. So where you're getting some kind of technological advancement. So yeah, there's some similarities there as well.
Well, the one that the most recent one, I guess, Cam, is the Kipchoge's marathon in the Nike spring-loaded shoes that he ran under 2 hours, first man ever.
Which some people are just disregarding, right? Because he was using some kind of shoe.
Oh, he broke about 10 different rules of competitive marathon running. You know, he had runners that just ran 10-kilometer bursts with him, pacemakers. They ran in V formats. They had shoes. The course was artificially, flat. They did everything they could to artificially create the opportunity to go under 2 hours, and
right. So that was a speed run event.
It is over 42.12 or whatever it is kilometers. My gosh, a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, some of the examples we were talking about Grand Theft Auto before. The origins of it come back to Doom. So you've got a big history of speed running that's almost as old as esport is itself. It's funny because like in the community, I've come across a lot of discussion of, is speed running esport? Is it competitive? And I can't believe this is still happening. And this is a tried and true history and pastime of gamers for almost 30 years, and people are still trying to decide whether or not it's sport. So I guess that discussion is going to be around for a while, but yeah, it's interesting that it's still going on. We were touching on just briefly before, but yeah, speed running certainly popular. These are the hours for February, the period between the 17th and the 23rd of February 2020, so earlier this year. And this is hours watched by top Twitch channels. And the number one is the esports speedrunning marathon. So, you can't argue that it's not a popular sport on platforms like Twitch. And that one in particular,
the most popular, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, for a period of time at least. So 1.78 million viewers on Twitch is pretty good. And that was the European esports tour. They had an event sponsored by Kaspersky. I'll chuck this out there.
Insane.
This is a quick video.
World record holder. As the world went into lockdown, a community of gamers came together, united by a passion to beat the game as quickly as possible.
Break the Record Live, presented by Kaspersky. It's about the best run on the day. It's going to be our long stint as well. 14 hours, chaps. We've got Shining Face, Bowser, Bloodshot, Rampancy, Bisconic, Jay, and Zamid. We've got runners from around different parts of the globe. We are here to break the record. I think it can be done.
6 runners set new personal bests.
Hold on your hats here, guys. He's barely lost a second off his best possible time. Naya is on the brink of achieving the best run ever.
Man, I can't imagine the nerves right now.
This is the moment of truth.
The world record from Zai was the moment of the event. We just got a world record live.
That's it right there. Congratulations, Zai, world record holder.
That was a spectacle. That was insane.
I ran with Kaspersky gaming mode on, and I broke the record.
Way fast.
So there you go. Oops, playing it again. So yeah, big events that are starting to establish themselves and put on speed running attempts. So I guess they would have probably not got as many viewers during the event because this was a special event. They probably wouldn't have raised as much money as they did. So I think this was a charity event as well. Had they not managed to get the world record. So, doing a world first obviously brings with it some attention. But you can see like there's a lot of very similar things there with other concepts we've talked about. You've got your sponsorship engagement, you've all sorts of different things going on there. Big event, pretty cool, bringing in all sorts of different things.
Brilliant.
And I had a little article about some of the best speed runners, but so I guess maybe I'll throw this in the comments if you wanted to watch some of the top speed runners around the world. There's an article kind of showcasing some of them, so check that out if you get a chance.
Yeah, and I guess where the virtual and the physical collide on speed running is one that I was telling you about before we went to Air Cam, which we'll do a little bit of research on and have a look at. But at the moment, there's the virtual Sydney to Melbourne race ultra marathon is being run, and where people are running during the day, logging their times, and effectively tracking their way down through that. And again, I guess it's first across the line wins, which by the definition you've explained to us is speed running.
Yeah, and I guess maybe we'll see a few more examples like this where you've got the real world sports again crossing that echelon into the virtual world and combining into a speed run where you've got a real sport speed run, I guess. Kind of ticking both boxes.
We might have a look at it and maybe we might see if we can get one of the competitors and just see what it's about from their perspective and why it's, ultimately, why do they want to run 900 kilometers and record it and have it in?
Well, that's a question I've got for anybody, Steve. Why does anyone want to run 900 kilometers?
Well, we can ask that as well. So yeah.
Before we leave there, there's a biannual event that the University of South Australia run for the speed running community where they host probably a weekend, I think, Thursday through Sunday, a whole bunch of speed running activities, and they try and raise some money for Beyond Blue and try to set some records while they're there and bring some of the community together, which is really cool.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Cam. Well, that's another interesting week. I actually never heard of speed running before today. So, it's just another angle, another thing. But it's very, very interesting as normal. So, yeah, we might try and unlock that. Why would anyone want to run between Melbourne and Sydney over the coming weeks as well? But and particularly virtually, which. Combination of virtual. I get it virtually. I'm not necessarily sure I get it physically. So
yeah.
Anyway. So mate, great. Another different angle. Until next week. Thank you so much for sharing your time. For everyone that watches the recording, for everyone that joins us in the live stream, we love it when you come. We love it when you watch. We love it when you leave comments. So until next week, I'm Steve Palace. He's Cameron Osterland, and thank you for being part